Hey everyone, I'm Liz Merrick, and today we're going to set some fondant on fire. For a good reason. We're making a gold and black crackled fondant cake. You don't want to miss this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is mix together our fondant. I have some black fondant here. It's pre-made. Usually black fondant is too soft and very, very smushy to do the crackle effect on, because once you crackle it, it just disintegrates. So I fixed this by adding a little bit of white fondant. There's so much food coloring in black fondant, it's not even going to affect the color. So now our fondant is nice and stretchy. So we're going to panel our cake, which means we're going to place one piece of fondant over the top, and then we're going to wrap another piece around the side. This is going to ensure that we don't mess up the texture too much. So I'm just going to take a small amount of my fondant. Good amount of cornstarch. Make sure it's nice and cornstarched on the back so that we can move it out of the way. Now I'm going to take my blowtorch. I'm just going to torch the surface. You should be able to see the fondant kind of bubble up. This makes it taste like toasted marshmallows. I like this torch a lot for doing this because it makes it go really fast. Alright. Now, I'm going to paint the surface with Edible Artist Decorative Paint Rose Gold. This is a great paint to use if you don't have confectioner's glaze. It is going to bead up at first, so we're going to do a couple of coats. If you don't have Edible Artist decorative paints, you can just use regular gold dust mixed with alcohol, but the gold will come off on your rolling pin a little bit. It's okay in a pinch though. I'm just going to use a bench scraper to make sure it's not stuck, and just move that to the side. Now we're going to do our longer piece. I know that my cake is about 5 inches tall, which is about this tall on my bench scraper, and it's 6 inches wide. So when you're trying to calculate how long of a piece of fondant you want to roll out, just triple it. So 6 inches times 3. So this is about 16 inches. That's good. Save that. Commence the torching. Okay, once you get your second coat on there, I'm going to add some Never Forgotten Designs edible flash dust. So I get a little shine, sparkle. Can't have too much sparkle. It is stuck a little bit, but I'm just going to use my bench scraper to loosen it. And then I'm just going to move this to the side and let it cool fully. We don't want it sticky at all before we crackle it. While this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and cover my other dummy in some black fondant. I'm going to adhere the fondant to the dummy with just some vegetable shortening. Use a small pin to pop any bubbles. I'm gonna roll this up. And then I'm going to use a very sharp, brand new blade and insert and hold my blade flat against the top of the cake and just cut. So now I'm just going to take my smoothing tool and sharpen that edge by just pushing against the surface. This is totally optional. And we have nice sharp edges. Now I'm just going to paint this whole top tier with some of my paints. Just gonna go over the top first. Remember, it's gonna take a couple coats. I always paint metallics over dark fondant because I think it looks shinier than it does when it's just over white fondant. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry and then I'm gonna do a second coat. Okay, so the surface is dry to the touch. It's been probably about 40 minutes. It's been quite a while. But the bottom is still nice and soft, so you don't have to worry about that. Sticky, sticky, sticky. Just put a little bit of cornstarch on my rolling pin to keep it from sticking. You don't have to do it a lot, just enough to kind of show some definition between. Ooh, pretty. I'm gonna place this right on top. I'm just gonna hold my blade straight up and down and cut the excess off. Just go one direction. And then you can go the other direction. Put a little bit of cornstarch on here just so it's not sticking. And we'll get rid of that cornstarch later, don't worry about it. Gotta do the top edge first. I'm just gonna unroll around the cake dummy. Oh, that looks so cool. I'm going to cut through both the top and the bottom piece of fondant. Poke right through. And then just touch up that edge. Nobody will ever. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of water from my airbrush to just get rid of any of that leftover cornstarch.